Alright, how we doing, ladies and gentlemen? I was asked for a tier list of what I think of the characters in Swarm. Now, I don't have access to Riven, Aurora, or Zaya yet. These require me to go through difficulty hard, so I will be going through those eventually. So this is going to be a very, very early tier list, and of course, I don't know everything, so there might be things that I don't know that make certain characters busted. But this is just going to be from my experience and my early thoughts so far. I will do a fully advanced tier list later on once I unlock everybody, and I can give you the full story about all of the setups and whatnot. But just to start us off with the basic characters that you're going to have starting with the first 6 here, I think that it's a pretty cut and dry tier list, I'll be honest with you. I think S tier is Yasuo and Alawi, A tier is Briar and Leona, and the lowest tier is going to be Jinx Seraphine, with Jinx slightly above Seraphine. Now that would be the solo tier list. If you're playing in a team, of course Seraphine gets a lot more value, as well as Leona will also get a lot more value for her stun and her crowd control as a result. But I genuinely think that that's how the tier list goes. Reason being is Yasuo's Wind Wall is exceptionally good at basically saving you from literal death. I would say the same about Briar, but Briar's a lot harder to pull off, even though she literally will play the game for you. You need to know when to taunt on Briar, but with Yasuo, you can kind of just do your own thing and the game will carry you. Yasuo also has a lot of really good crit options. The biggest thing about these characters will be their starting item, because that is one of the biggest scalers for sure. So for Briar, for example, she has a max HP scaling option, which is going to be really good for the Buzzsaw build that you'll see on the channel. That thing absolutely shreds because it requires max HP and health regeneration to get going, which Briar absolutely loves. Whereas with Yasuo, he goes for crit, which crit does take a little bit to unlock. There is a video on the channel of how to unlock crit. But once you get an actual crit setup going, he is insanely good. I just beat Aatrox with a fully evolved setup that had all 3 crit items coupled with max HP and health regeneration, who also has the Buzzsaw incorporated. And I could literally stand still and AFK, and the rest of the map died. Now, this was on just difficulty 1, right? But Yasuo, I think, is by far going to be the best solo character. His E can also dash over walls. And I mean, big, big walls. You can use his E to save yourself. You can use his Wind Wall to literally create a tunnel to save your team. You can block projectiles. You can stop the elite charging you on Beachhead. The charger is a massive pain in the ass. You can also dash into the charger. If you dash at just the right time, your dash will give you a shield, which that shield will get absorbed by the charger and you'll get flung back and you'll be able to survive that way. He just has some of the best solo tools by far to complete the entire game with, I think. And the reason I say Alawi is beside him in God tier is because she needs one thing to pop off. She needs duration. That's literally it. That is the only thing that she's going to need, because once you get duration, her tentacles are going to scale with that. You get duration and max HP, then you just get Radiant Field and let the tentacles kill everything for you, and whatever walks into the field just explodes. With taking duration as well, you can get, Tibbers on top of that, so you can just have insane amounts of summons. There was one run, there's probably going to be a picture of it at some point in my comment section. Josh literally tripled my damage. I had a really good run going, and I did 8 million. He did 23 million. It wasn't even close. She's absurdly powerful if you can get her going correctly, and then exceptionally tanky. You get Metabolic Overdrive, she's unkillable. You get good duration and upgrade it, you're 1 upgrade, and you're fine. You can brick the rest of your build, and the tentacles will literally carry you throughout the rest of the game. That's how powerful she is. So, would suggest playing Alawi. I haven't played as much of her, but she's really, really good. Coupled with the fact her tentacle spawns give her health regen for every single one that's spawned, so her ultimate will give you a bunch of HP regen, so she doesn't even need to take those options if she doesn't want to go down that path. As well as her slam will allow her to CC pretty much anything aside from literal bosses, the massive enemies that are going to charge at you, like the charger on Beachhead, or any of the groups of elites. You can just slam them, and there's no big issue. You slam them, run in the middle of them, drop your ulti, or other way around rather, drop your ulti, slam them in the middle, and just watch the tentacles go to absolute town. Now, the reason I would say Leona is in the next tier is because she does exceptionally well with the Buzzsaw setup that I was saying before, where you go for max HP, you go for health regeneration, and because of her E, the AoE shield that she puts up that has like the Sunfire effect, then that'll just add even more damage on top of that to what you're already going for. Couple that with you put her ultimate down on top of her, and if you have duration in the build, which you probably should, it'll make it so that the AoE that's on the ground will last exceptionally long. So as a result of that, the damage is just insane. You do not have to move if you build Leona correctly. You can literally do the entire run stood still if it decides to give it to you. Maybe I'll do that for a challenge run at the end of Swarm. Can I beat Swarm by standing still on Leona? That could be fun. But yeah, she's genuinely insanely good, and she scales with armor on her Shield Slam. So picking up armor naturally will make you tankier, as well as evolve the Shield Slam to give you bonus damage and a stacking component on it that will then be consumed by another weapon. So if you're using Radiant Heart, things are going to be walking into you, automatically consuming the sunlight debuff that you're applying, right? So it naturally all works together. Now, I haven't played any other setups with Leona, but the Buzzsaw setup is literally so good, you don't have to. Now, the reason I say Jinx Seraphine at the bottom, I was talking to Josh earlier, and he said that most people are putting Jinx in absolute garbage tier. Now, I think she could work, but she's more... The thing about ADCs in this mode is going to be they'll scale up based on having a team around. Like, Yasuo is really good for solo, Leona's really good for solo, Briar's really good for solo, and Alawi is really good for solo. But Jinx Seraphine are literally just team-reliant champs, because obviously Seraphine is going to be using her shield with her E, and her ultimate is kind of a fucking joke, I'll be honest with you. The damage from that thing is absolutely pitiful. Jinx, I think, has the capability to pop off, but she needs like a Leona or an Alawi or something that has a Buzzsaw setup that she can stand inside of to be able to protect herself, because Rocket's really good, it does a lot of damage. Her AoE spread is also really good, but if you don't hit like a massive rocket that kills everything, you just kind of get ran down, honestly. And she's good with ability haste, I think it is, which allows you to get like multiple Gatling guns and whatnot for Jinx. But even then, I think you're just handicapping yourself playing solo, playing either of these. Seraphine goes for projectile count, and literally the only reason I'd say to play Seraphine is to unlock the projectile count upgrade. Because past that, you don't really have to play her. And to do that, you need to get her to level 25. So then that'll allow you to get permanent plus projectile count on every single run. That's the only thing I would suggest playing Sarah for. You can probably do Jinx solo if you want to be a little off-meta cheeseball, and I'll most likely do some myself. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the early tier list so far. I will, of course, do an updated one as I get deeper into the game and understand more, because we are, of course, like day 3 for me right now. Day 2, I think it is. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. Let me know if there's anything I missed, any interactions that work better, so then I can use them myself, kill everything, and put it on the channel. Thank you guys for listening. As always, take care.